Yeah, I had two people that I know that had one person was selling like a TV or something on Craigslist for like $500, and they sent her like $2,500, for example. They expressed it to her like $2,500. Said, "Oh my gosh, my assistant made a mistake, sent you too much. I'm hoping you're going to be honest. Just take your $500, take an extra $200 for the for the trouble, and send me the rest." So when the lady got the money, she was telling me about it, and I said, "I think that's a scam." She's like, "I think so too, but I don't care. I'm going to spend this money." And I'm like, "No, don't you do it, da da da." And long story short, she went to the bank and she went to a check cashing place, tried to cash it, and the people called the police. They thought because they had already had another check like that, and she ended up getting locked up, and she was a convicted felon already. So she had several reasons why she should not have done it. Second situation, I used to work with a girl 12, 13 years ago. Happened to her, too. She got the check in the mail, and they told her the same thing. And they said, just, send us the rest. So she said, okay, I will. And she said, screw them. She went to her bank, cashed the check. She went to Walmart, cashed the check, got the check, paid her bills. She said, I'm scamming the scammers. And they kept calling her for the money, and she started ignoring their calls. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, she scammed the scammers. And they couldn't do anything to her because it was a legit check that she got, but the check bounced. But, somebody sent the check to her. So they had to find whoever sent the check, but not her. But she didn't give them nothing. She said, I'm a scam the scammer. I need this money. My bill's behind.
Yeah. See, that's good. Definitely good karma on that scammer, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I loved it. Absolutely.
Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I was just going to give you a couple more definitions on some different they're kind of funny, so you'll look forward to hearing this. And then we're going to talk about some signs to be able to avoid scammers and 8 signs that you might be being scammed or catfished. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Corinne, and here is today's trending news break. Michelle Obama is celebrating Barack Obama's 59th birthday with a sweet message. Today, the former First Lady shared an old family vacation photo with daughter Sasha, which is 19, and Malia, who is 22, to social media to celebrate her husband's big day. Happy birthday to my favorite guy, she wrote. Here's to all the good days, blue skies, and new adventures to come, adding a kiss emoji at the end of her birthday message. And that's it for today's trending news story.
Real Girlfriends Across America is on Patreon. Please follow us at patreon.com/Real Girlfriends Across America. We strive to bring good content, and we appreciate every show of support. Your donation could make a world of difference. Thank you for listening and all that you do.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We are discussing catfish, scammers, con artists, and much more tonight, how to recognize these people and how to avoid them. I'm going to give you a couple more definitions because I found it interesting. I never really thought about how many different definitions there are of these evil people out there. But we already went over a scammer and catfisher and kitten fishing. Next would be a con artist, and they're defined as a special breed of talentless artists who are adept only at deceit and performance art rather than any actual artistic traits or talents. They cheat or trick others by persuading them to believe their lies. The next is a social con artist. They present social confidence, and they push others and exploit their characteristics and mess with human psyche. So, like the need for acceptance, fear, they play on these people, and it's a psychological thing. It's kind of creepy. And the last one, I had heard the word before, but I did not know what the definition was, and it's called a grifter. And this seems like the scariest type of person to me. This is someone who can influence anybody, anywhere, at any time into doing whatever they choose. it will always result in the grifter's personal gain, usually monetary, but could be many different things, lifestyle, cars, anything. They say they're not necessarily a sociopath, but it definitely helps if they're dead inside, because they're just not very emotional people, but they do fake it well. They're a student of human behavior, and they practice and mastered manipulation. So I'm curious if any of you ladies have anything to say about those definitions. I mean, have you heard of grifters before?
That sounds like the very definition of a sociopath. I mean, everything that you mentioned hits all the symptoms of sociopathy.
It's scary, isn't it, that there's people out there like that? So we just need to be careful.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
A lot of times what happens is that sometimes people experience so much trauma that they are unable to feel emotions in the same way that other people feel emotions, and they lose the ability to experience empathy or compassion because of the amount of trauma that they have gone through. So sometimes that happens to people, and it's tragic when it does, because it's extremely most experts believe that sociopathy is not curable.
It's a sad thing when things like that are mental health issues. We hope that people would go and seek help for things like that, but sometimes they probably don't even know they have and that's why we all need to hold each other accountable in more ways than one, I think. Not only supporting each other, but calling each other on our bullshit, I always think is pretty important too. And that's why it's always great to have friends, and to listen to what they have to say about people, especially if you're in a new relationship or somebody you met online. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the 8 signs. I came across, they were pretty much all the same. They come down to these 8 signs that you might be talking to a catfish, a scammer, or a con artist. The first one is the relationship progresses quickly. So in other words, if you're talking to somebody that is trying to get you to marry them within 2 weeks, or talking about moving in together, or they love you after a few days, then they say to be very leery and cautious, because they're basically playing on your feelings and your emotions. And this happens a lot with lonely people at home that especially with this pandemic going on. People want love and they want affection, and these people play on that. So, Tawanda, what do you think about that? Or who else wants to go? How about you, Tay? Or Corinne, go ahead, because I don't know if anybody's there.
Yeah, this is Tay.
There she is.
Yeah, Amanda's still on board. But yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, I can see that happening with the pandemic, where people are preying on other people just because they feel like they may be lonely or have no one else. And, a lot of people are probably in need of money just because they're not able to work. So I could see, people conning people being at a high around this time.
Right. Well, it's weird because I have a lot of social media presence, and I'll tell you what, I get some weird stuff sometimes, and it just blows my mind. But it makes me sad in the same breath, because sometimes I'll take a step back and I realize that people fall for that shit, and it's like, it makes me sad because I just look at it like, are you kidding me? The jokes you see on Facebook, who in the one mutual friend are you, these people just trying to prey on girls and young women, and it's kind of scary. So if somebody is trying to, to tie you down after a week and you've never even seen them on a video chat, you might be talking to a scammer. The second one is that they never want to show their face. The same idea of not wanting to get on the video. There's only a few pictures. It's always it's the same background. It's the same picture. They don't have they don't want to be spontaneous and get online with you. Corinne, did you have something to say, hon?
No, I didn't say anything.
No, that was
just
me.
Going back.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amanda.
I was just going back to the lonely feeling. Like, feeling lonely is such a desperate feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's so sad about this entire thing, why I feel like it's so important to do shows like this, because, you know, it may sound like we're reiterating things, but there are people out there who are struggling tremendously. And the only way they reach out is online. And then if some, you know, there's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of people that are trying to take advantage, especially because they're feeling desperate themselves with the situation that's going on in the world. And it doesn't make it right, and it's horrible, but it's happening. And I feel like, you know, the more we talk about things, the more we let each other know, hey, don't be embarrassed. This shit happens to people. Like, we all make mistakes, and we have mistakes made upon us. And we just need to be honest about it so that we can make it through together and, you know, hopefully not drain our bank accounts.
This is Kay. I would actually like to relay something that happened today, actually. Somebody tried to scam me on Facebook, which was really interesting. It was some little girl's account. What was it, Nika? Something like that. So she messaged me on Messenger and said, oh, there's this government program. I got $12,800. It's a blessing. You should sign up for it. And I was already suspicious. Like, who just randomly texts you on Messenger and offers you a program for money that's from somebody that you don't know, right?
Right.
So, but I was curious. So I was like, okay, let's see how far she'll take this. So I was like, okay, so what's it about? And she was like, oh, you just click on this link and you go there and you tell the person that you're interested in applying. And at first I thought, okay, she's going to give me a bogus link, or maybe she's going to try to hack my Facebook account, or, you know, so I was already suspicious. So she gives a link, and it actually goes to a profile, like an actual profile. But I could tell it's not a real person's profile because it has like one or two people as friends. It was pretty much just created within the last couple weeks. It said agent somebody or other, and it looked like it was trying to look like an official government account, right? So I could already tell it was fake, but I was still curious. I was like, okay, how far are they going to take this? So I messaged the account and was like, oh, I heard about your program, you know, about, you know, the grants that you have, like, how do I apply? And so she was like, well, what program are you trying to apply for? And she listed off a bunch of different grants, and one of them was women's businesses. So I said, women's business. And she was like, okay, for the women's business, we just need a certain amount of information for your application. I'm going to send that information to you. So I'm thinking she's going to send me an email or maybe a link with an application that's probably going to, like, virus my phone or something. Like, I'm still in super, uber suspicious mode. And this person copies and pastes a bunch of questions about my marital status, my first and last name, my age, my location, my secret question and my secret answer. And I'm like, look at these amateurs.
But, you know,
so,
you know, people fall for it.
Right. Yeah, some people fall for that mess.
I think I saw the number. Do you ladies believe it, that it was like $2 billion expected in 2020 to be scammed out of people? $2 billion gets scammed out of people in 1 year. It's crazy. It's incredible. So we only have about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to go. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, really quickly. Sometimes I get those messages all the time on Facebook, and sometimes when they're like, have you heard of blah, blah, blah grant? I'm like, yes, I invented it.
That's always a good response. I'm your boss. So I'm going to go through the rest of these 8 really quickly because I do have some more information to share with you guys. Number 3 is that their social media usage is sparse, so there's not a lot of activity, not a lot of different pictures. 4 is they ask for money, especially right away. If anybody asks you for money right away, that should definitely give you a red flag. Please do not send people money that you do not know. That's why now the rest of us people have a hard time sending money via Western Union nowadays because they ask you about 300 questions. Number 5 is if they seem too good to be true, unfortunately, they might not be true. Number 6, their job or the job they tell you they have sends them all over the world. Maybe they're military or they're rich or they're just never in town, always traveling. Number 7 is the grammar. I'm a big grammar person, and it drives me insane, but it is definitely a thing because a lot of times there's this foreign countries that are sneaking in trying to do this, and their grammar is not exactly correct. So that is a red flag. And then number 8 is the elaborate stories. Like I said before, if you get the Uncle Bob